Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and welcome back everybody to a brand new video on the channel. Today is something a little special. What we're doing is going back, way back into the beginnings of PUBG, getting into the nostalgia territory here. What we're going to be looking at is 5 things that only original PUBG players will remember. Now, these are going to be things that are either from early access builds where pretty much nobody was playing it, or some things that have been tweaked maybe fairly recently within the past couple of months that you might not have ever known or played about. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, if you guys end up enjoying the video, then I really appreciate a like rating. It helps me out a ton, and it helps to continue to support me in the channel, and I'd appreciate it greatly. Make sure that you also are subscribed to the channel if you are not already. We are only 15,000 away from our subscriber goal of 150k, so every single subscriber does matter, and I have some awesome stuff coming up when we do hit. And as one final thing, I've been doing a lot of live streaming recently, primarily on YouTube, as you guys have probably seen, but I'm also going to be live streaming on Twitch. I want to branch out to that a little bit, so make sure you go and follow my Twitch channel. The link will be down below inside of the description, and you'll be able to hang out with me over there. I just want to make sure that I also have you guys on another platform, just in case for whatever reason I'm not able to stream on YouTube. Whatever the case may be, I still plan to do YouTube streams, but I want to do both, so make sure you go follow me on Twitch. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the top 5 things that only original PUBG players will remember. So taking on number 5 spot for today is actually 2 items that I think I would rather just kind of put them in one category, as it makes sense to talk about them both in one swoop. But this is going to be the original frag nade and also the smoke. Now, the reason why I'm saying the frag first is because this has gone through a lot of ups and downs. There's been nerfs and buffs to it where they're trying to make it better or worse. Sometimes they think that it's too powerful, but they've tried to get to a point where it makes sense, it's balanced, and it's not annoying. But the original frag nade used to be insane, like have a crazy blast radius, and it was like god tier to run. That's how you would win the games back in the day. During the end zone, you just frag the entire middle, and whoever's in there is literally gone. So that's all well and good, but the other side of that coin, where the original smoke nade was on, was the complete opposite as far as effectiveness goes as compared to the frag. Now, the original smoke nade just kind of let off this really pitiful puff of like gray smoke that would blow in the wind one distance, and it didn't really cover anything up. This is what it looked like. These are like some probably the best images that can convey what it used to do, and they were actually useless. Like maybe in a certain interior zone if you pop a nade. Also, not to mention, the smoke would go right through walls, like even if you throw it in a house. So it didn't make a lot of sense. It wasn't balanced. But now they've changed the smoke grenade to where it's one big white cloud that doesn't blow in one direction, and it actually covers things up. They made it a lot more useful, but the original effectiveness of this thing was just not there. It wasn't cutting. For the most part, original players avoided taking smoke grenades like the plague. Nobody ever picked them up. Molotovs were probably more useful at that rate, and it was, I'd say, regarded as the most useless item in the game. That's obviously not the case now, just because one little tweak to how the smoke works can make a huge difference, and they've definitely picked up on that, which is good. I like running them even in solos now, which is very surprising. I never thought I would say that, but they are useful. I'd recommend at least one, and especially squads have multiple. They're amazing for reviving teammates. That's its biggest draw to it for me now. But yeah, the original smoke grenades were pretty much like non-existent, and I'm glad it's been tweaked. So coming in at the number 4 spot is a pretty major change. It's like a base game mechanic that I'm glad was tweaked because it absolutely needed it, and I physically cannot imagine playing PUBG if this was still implemented in the game. But this was so early on in, I'd say, pre-early access. Like the amount of players playing this game during that time was a sliver of what it is right now. But if I wasn't even playing during then, if you were, then you were true OG. But this was back in the day before armor was tweaked, that it used to significantly reduce the amount of damage that you take. Now, of course, we know how armor works. Without getting into the specific numbers about armor and all the complicated stuff that comes with the helmets and vests, the general rule of thumb right now is that having a like higher tier armor allows you to take 1 extra bullet in a gunfight, for the most part. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, but before armor was kind of tweaked and before the damage that you took was messed with, you could take much more shots, and it made the time to kill very high in this game. You had to put on maybe, I would say, 10 shots if somebody had all level 3, just as a kind of rule of thumb there. With like a regular 5.56 weapon, it would take so many to take someone down. Thankfully, this was changed pretty early on, and armor since then hasn't really gone through any significant changes. It stayed like this, and I think it's very balanced where it's at right now. Now, I'm not gonna lie though, I would actually like to play a game sort of like that, where the health is very high and you need to land a lot of shots to kill. I kind of prefer those. I feel like those are sometimes more skill based, as you have to keep shots on and keep your aim for longer, which I do like that, but I don't don't think PUBG is the appropriate game for this. I believe the health system and armor is one of the most refined mechanics that PUBG still has in its system, and I really hope it doesn't go any significant changes because I believe it's good where it is. But you can let me know in the comment section if you prefer to have really strong armor or the armor that's currently in the game of PUBG. Let me know in the comment section, but unfortunately I never got to play with the old version, so I couldn't tell you what my preference is. So taking our number 3 spot for today is another thing that goes just as far back as the old armor system. It's that old. This is going to be before PUBG had usable water and also a usable bridge. There was a time where the water wasn't ready yet, like the mechanic wasn't fully built and refined, but the land was. So around the area of Erangel on the borders, you would have this wall that didn't allow you access into the beach and then into the water itself because the swimming mechanic wasn't ready, the boats weren't ready, but it was still there and it was getting ready to be added in the next update. Unfortunately, however, since this was so early on, I'm not really able to find any clear picture of this, but I do have this where the bridge was still being created, and this was also when the water was almost done being polished and added into the game. But it's interesting to think about what it would be like if we couldn't use the water in PUBG, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that's a big part of the game and you need to be using it, but it's also like it's a staple of PUBG. Swimming is something that we expect to be able to do in this game. You don't think twice when you jump in the water and go from the military base over to the mainland. You just do it. I don't know why. I find it so fascinating when I'm able to show you guys stuff like this about PUBG when it was not necessarily like broken, but like unfinished, when this game was still being developed. It was just a little baby game and it wasn't anything massive like it is right now. PUBG didn't just come out and it was just this big battle royale that everybody knew about. It was a little indie game made by a small studio and they didn't really know if it was going to go anywhere, but I think that they dropped it at the right time when the battle royale genre was just getting big, and PUBG was the biggest game at the time when it started picking up traction from it after H1Z1. So every single game comes from humble beginnings, and PUBG is no different. Now, coming in at our number 2 spot for today. Now, to be honest, this one doesn't go as far back as the one that we were previously talking about, but it is very important. It's something that I don't think players, if they had to get used to playing like this again, could do very quickly. This is the addition of the crouch jump, or the, I guess, discovery of the crouch jump. This was before vaulting was a feature in PUBG. Nowadays, we take it for granted. Vaulting is just something that we don't think twice about anymore. You jump out of windows, you jump on crates, stuff like that. But if you wanted to get on a different accessible area that wasn't able just to be regular jumped on, you had to do a special maneuver with your keyboard, I guess, and you had to hit your spacebar and your crouch at the same time in almost complete perfect unison for you to get a higher jump that looks something like this. And it was this nice little technique that took a while to learn. It was fun having to master the crouch jump. Now, you can still use it in the game somewhat today. It doesn't work quite the same way, but it's not as effective as it used to be. But during the time before vaulting was in, even the developers of PUBG itself encouraged the use of the crouch jump. They were fully transparent about the vaulting being added soon and the crouch jump is going to be removed, but they said in the meantime, feel free to use this. In fact, we encourage it. And that's a little different from the mindset of most game developers these days that condone and even encourage the use of, I guess, what is technically classified as a glitch. But it's interesting. It's a piece of PUBG's history and I don't want to ever forget it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just before we unveil our number 1 spot for today, as I'm editing this video, I literally just thought of another thing that I wanted to include in honorable mentions. It's something that I haven't thought about in a while, but it just popped in my brain, and I'd say that maybe about 50% of players will have experienced this or remember it. You can let me know in the comment section if this is something that you have played with before. But nowadays we know that when the blue zone passes over us, it makes this kind of sound effect. It's like a whoosh noise, right? You know what I'm talking about. But the zone used to be dead silent when it passed you when this game was in its beginnings. Like, even H1 had the alarm for when the gas is coming in, but PUBG's never had really any audio cue for the blue zone approaching. Of course, it makes the noise when it passes over you, but it used to be dead silent the entire way, which honestly is like almost creepier, you know what I mean? I don't know if that was intentional or they just didn't know what they wanted to do with the sound of the zone, but it's almost scary when you just leave it up to your imagination and there's no audio cue. I don't know how you guys feel about that. You can let me know in the comment section down below, but I thought I'd mention that as something that was a little interesting tidbit about PUBG. Now, finally, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at our number 1 spot is not really something that I can talk about a lot. I just have to show you for yourself. I'm going to let a clip roll and I'm going to just let the nostalgia hit you. Man, listen guys, real talk, I don't care what anyone says, nothing will beat the OG PUBG menu music. Like, seriously nothing. It might look better visually now, but I think the music will never be beaten. I don't know if it's just my nostalgia or the song is that good. You guys can leave it in the comment section how you feel about that, but that is the most OG thing as OG gets that I think most people can relate to. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I think that is going to be the video for today of 5 things that only original PUBG players will remember. If you guys enjoyed the video, then like I said, be sure to leave a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe to this channel if you are brand new, and make sure you go and follow my Twitch before you leave, just so you don't miss the live streams. And also go join my Discord. All that stuff is down below in the description. Just go check out those links. And without further ado, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy guys, and peace out.